Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram,
Shri Ram Jai
Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram,
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram,
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram,
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram,
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram,
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram,
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram,
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram,
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Pranam, pranam, pranam. Pranam, pranam.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om, Hari Om. So yesterday we were going through that equality, you know. Among the points that are coming under the second category, that is to be pondered on simultaneously with the proprietary measure. We covered knowing your and the world origin. Any of these things, you know, suppose we try to go in, that will answer for all our problems, all our questions. So he is now parading before us so many choices. Take anyone, take anything, concentrate upon it, and you will reach the goal. Knowing your and the world's origin. Whenever there is a pause moment in my life, I should start thinking about it. So yesterday we discussed about it from quoting from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. that he is the Bijam, he is the eternal seed of everything. So you and I have come only because of him. That is why he is there in us. He is there in us, he is pervading everywhere. Though he gives a delusion, he gives a what you call forgetfulness on the part of wife and husband. Actually, it is he who is responsible for this. And we children, we also don't bother to know our own origin. And finally we come to know. Because when we are planting a tree, we know the tree, it has come from a seed. The seed has come from a tree. And the tree has come from a seed. Like that it goes on. The starting point, similarly starting point for all of us. Then only we try to understand intellectually the common denominator in every creation. With that background, we will, when we chant Ram Nam, you are there. A little more closer to that, no? Previously when we were chanting, it was difficult for us to bring this. But now that we have been told, we have been asked by Papa to go to the origin of me and the world. So then I come to know that everybody has come from him. And everything has come from him. Here he says, it should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, that I am the seed-giving father. That answers everything. I am the generating seed of all living beings. No creature, moving or non-moving, can exist without me. These are all from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And then from there we move to great void. And so great void, yes, it can be termed as space. The space accommodates everything, Of all the five elements, space is the one which accommodates the rest of the four, Earth, water, then
Fire and air.
Fire, water, fire, air, space.
Everything is accommodated in the space. Space does not get affected by any of these things. So space is, now we can say he is the Sakshi, eternal witness, sentinel, whatever we feel like. Papa uses all these words to convey the characteristics of this. So great void also can take us to the ultimate. Then comes have equality in all types of divisions in the society. Jnanottara Bhakti was there in the initial stage, in this one. Jnanottara Bhakti and then great void, correct. Jnanottara Bhakti also we discussed. Whatever we are discussing is the path of knowledge. It is Nirguna. We also came to know from Mataji that In Quest of God stands for Nirguna Tattva. Now we understand, he always talks about Ram, 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 Ram. Ram the all-pervading, Ram the indwelling, Ram the birthless, deathless. At the same time, when we travel like this, we also see ourselves as an individual. And we see the rest of the individuals, the rest of the objects. So here Papa says, that is the Saguna Roop. Ram is Nirgun, Ram is also Sagun. That is why when we chant, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, he gives the meaning. Om stands for the Nirguna Nirakara Tattva. Sri stands for the Saguna Sakara Tattva. Ram stands for both and beyond both. Jai stands for victory. Victory to him who is Nirgun, who is Sagun, who is both and beyond both. This is Jnanottara Bhakti, None of us need to think that Papa Mataji gave stress only for Nirguna Tattva. Very much they identified themselves with this creation, not a particular creation, that's all. Not a particular Ishtadevada. So the entire creation before us is the Saguna Roop, including us. And there have been traditions where, Ishtadevadas, Ishtamurtis are there. And many devotees, out of their pure devotion, they have also scaled the heights. That is why Mataji included in the Arati here. Jaya Jaya Arati Vigna Vinayaka. In our Arati, also in our, after the universal prayer, we have so many slokas, After Prabhu Vishwanatha, when the Arati is over, we take the Pradakshina, There also we will find Achyudam Keshavam Ramanarayanam Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam Hari Kayena Vaja Manasindiyeva. So many things are there, And specifically, today's Arati, we have seen that all the Ishtadevadas are paraded before us, as it were. Starting from Lord Vinayaka, Lord Muruga, Lord Krishna, Goddess Saraswati, Lakshmi, Mahagali, Mahashakti, Lord Shiva, everybody is, Anjaneya. So, none of us need get into the feeling. Everything is recognized. Only thing is, when we concentrate on one form, we don't get connected with the cosmic reality. That is why no such things are regularly worshipped here, that's all. That risk is there, that's all. We get stuck with that particular Ishtadevada. If we know that the Ishtadevada is there in everybody, then it is perfectly alright for us to hold on to it. But somehow, since we are not full-timers, even in devotion, we don't give much importance. We just go, we have then some satisfaction, come back. We have faith, we derive some joy, we take their prasad, we give due respect. All those things are there, but it doesn't enter into our daily life. How do I deal with men and matters? It does not come. That is why it has to become a part of my life. So then only we will be free from all the divisions. The CEO or the manager of an organization, he sees everybody as important, Right from the person who cleans the office, up to the person who joins him in the planning or execution department. Each one, from their standpoint, they have to only bother about that. But there is someone there who looks at the overall functioning of the organization. And wherever there are holes, he tries to plug it. So he will be always vigilant, Whether it is production, whether it is sales, whether it is marketing, whether it is administration, whether it is accounts, whether it is research, whether it is watch and ward. All departments, So we are supposed to, when from that angle, all of our, now previously when we were all working, we used to say boss, colleague. Nowadays, everybody says colleague only. Nobody says as a boss or a subordinate. Those languages have changed now. Many years ago, when we went to Trivandrum to meet the governor, when he called the IAS secretary, he introduced to us as he's my colleague. He did not say my secretary. So that bhavana, when we are talking about having equality over all types of divisions, recognizing everybody. In this fan, for example, there are so many parts, is it not? The rod is there, the armature is there, what do you call that? The round thing. And the blades are there. And in the blade you will find screws and nuts. If one nut is not working, fan will not work. We will be trying to start the two-wheeler, This all happen in our life. It doesn't get started. Suddenly we remember, we have not switched on the fuel. That key has to be opened, then only it will flow. So we, half an hour we try, we get exhausted, we have to reach one place, then we ask somebody, something is wrong, can you find out? He said, you have not opened this, that's all, simple. When we opened and the first kick, it got started. Simple thing, So nothing is irrelevant, nothing is insignificant, nothing is unimportant. Suppose we try to develop this, each one has got their own place in the scheme of things. So under the banner of any cult or caste or creed or under any banner, how can we separate? We need not tom-tom, but in our heart there will be equality. Because we recognize everybody is a child of God. Everybody has come from God. We try. We may not be able to 100% implement this, but we keep on trying, and we may be able to implement to a very great extent. At home, in the office, and with the friends. Everywhere we should, these three tires it should come. Then only it is translated into workaday life. Everything, every discourse we hear, we have to immediately think, how does it help me in my day-to-day life? First of all, day-to-day life, Then only the life beyond this. So first I must prepare something for the daily life, which will be the starting point, bedrock on which I can build life after this body, Here and now we want. Here and now we want. Today also when we read out in the peace prayer, we remember here and now, now and here.
Adorable presence.
Now and here, Leah. We repeat now and here. Hardly we give any importance for that word. Actually we should stop. I'm asking to reveal in me now and here, but am I doing it? So these are all some of the points that come up under this category. The next category is seeing him in Mother Nature and others. Because throughout IQG, whenever Papa meets, Papa observes, Papa passes through the various forms of Mother Nature, the thrilling, the experience he gets. Even we find joy when we read that. Not merely telling it's also a form of God, Anybody who has no background on this, when he sees a waterfall, when he sees the lush green atmosphere, when he sees a mountain, when he sees a river, a stream, automatically something wells up in our heart, no? So, here is a poem. I find him. I find him everywhere. I find my God in fields, hills, dales, in workshop, school, office, marketplace, in plains and forests, in the grazing herd of cows, in home, hospital, in power plants, in huts and palaces, in halls of assemblies, in temples, churches and mosques, in solitudes and caves, in graveyards and cremation grounds. I see him in the sky above, the earth below, and in the waters of the lakes, oceans vast, in the slow and swift running streams, in trains, in cars, in aeroplanes, as well in gentle moving bullock carts. I behold him, awake, asleep, dreaming, in birth, in life, and in death. I find him at all times, in all places, in all states. My God is everywhere and everything. He alone is, there is none but He. Many years ago, when we first came across this poem, tomorrow we will try to dig it out. Somewhere we have kept it in the... Each and every item, we started going, what is the message it gives? Now, earth, water, space, air, and then one more, no?
Fire.
Spaces, eh?
Fire.
In these five, when he says, I am there, we cannot simply hear and go. These are the things that are right before us. We don't have to go anywhere. So we ask, when we see the Mother Earth on which we stand, we walk, we cultivate, we drive our vehicle, we hardly recognize first one. We have to first recognize its existence. Normally we say, patience, ready to serve attitude. Whatever way you want me, you use me. Three years back, the present Ayodhya one, it was nothing but a laterite rock filled place. Now we go see, there's a vast change. She is available. She will not say, no, don't touch me. No? Whatever way you want, you make use of it. That is why we have got road, buildings, so many. No? Anything you want to cultivate, you can cultivate. Like that we start building up. And what am I doing it? What I am doing in my life? Papa wanted us to connect us with this Mother Nature. I find Him everywhere. I find God everywhere. And God stands for what? This unconditional love, unconditional service. Water, you see, always it comes back to us, the first lesson it teaches, you take anything, it levels up by itself. You won't find any dent in it. Great lesson for all of us. We may talk, we may disagree, we may shout, but the love should be intact, There should not be a dent in our vision. It is natural for individuals to differ, because each one is unique. Each one's priority, preference, and definition concepts are different. So naturally there will be difference of opinion. But that difference of opinion should nothing to do with the relationship. Water can be anything you apply, any color you apply. You put salt, it becomes salt water. You put sugar, it becomes sweet water. It will not say, no, I will not accept it. Start thinking, It is available for everybody, fruits, anything that is given by Mother Nature. Papa used to say in his religion, its universality book. Then essentially humanity is one. Under the influence of nescience, we create a sense of diversity and see distinctions and differences among the members of the human race. We possess a natural affinity to each other. Till yesterday we would not have seen, no? Suddenly we find affinity with people we have not met at all. We possess a natural affinity to each other. Every one of us possesses the same power of thought, feeling, and action. We are blessed with speech, which is a splendid means by which we can communicate with each other. So we should think, feel, and act in a spirit of love and unity. The life principle that activates our being is the same. We all breathe the same air, walk on the same earth, and are equally entitled to the enjoyment of the amenities which nature provides. The earth yields its rich gift to all alike. The difference between man and man on the material plane are in truth unnatural, improper. For the component parts and the composition of human bodies and the qualities inherent in them are not diverse and conflicting. If we look with a pure vision that belongs to an enlightened mind, we do not see any clear-cut line of demarcation that isolates man from man, one set of people from another, one nation from another. Even when we look at various products of nature, we are free to cultivate wherever it is possible. And we also use it. We may sell it or we may give to others. But it is also meant for others. Nobody will be able to consume everything, For the farmers, that also makes a means of livelihood. We were all coffee planters prior to coming to ashram. More than 20 years we have closely associated with plantation life. Very much to do with Mother Nature. And it is a joy to see, We have paperwork for administrative responsibility, but still, every day we make it a point to be in the field. It gives tremendous relief, from anything and everything. When you look at the plants which are giving you yield, or there are two types of crops: seasonal crops and perennial crops. Seasonal crops, you have to every year put the seed, like ginger, like turmeric, like paddy, any pulses. All those things are seasonal. So we have to do the whole thing again and again. Perennial, it is not like that. Once we plant, we have to maintain it, that's all. But there also, Mother Nature is very much needed. In the sense, we need rain. Whenever we need rain, we need rain. Whenever we don't need rain, we should not get it. We need shade, but it should not be over. We say shade looping or shade regulation. We need shade. Filtered shade is necessary. So like that, every time when you go to the field, it's a joy and joy and joy only. And it teaches a lot. Even the probing nature, you say to the origin, no, this particular one. We also learn to go to the origin. Not only that particular plant or seed. Suppose it doesn't become productive, one area, though the inputs are same. Then, somebody will be there to tell us, why don't you get the soil analyzed? Just like we go to the doctor to get the, what do you call that, blood test or something, pathological. So here also there is a pathology. And they analyze and they say the pH content is more, it is highly acidic. Whatever you put the inputs, it cannot become a plant food. If it has to become a plant food, the alkali should be there. Something like that, no? Teaches a lot. And then we find, calcium. Where from that calcium carbonate comes? Kakai. From the sea. Seashells. Then we understand the nature itself has provided everything. We need nitrogen for the vegetative growth. Our cow dung, simple cow dung, or mulch. Mulch is nothing but the leaves dropped by the tree. Every day they are doing, and it is collected. And the same mulch serves as an organic manure. So that's why, it teaches a lot. I find him everywhere. So he has given us a clue in that. But we try to learn more and more of it. The scientific aspect of it is also made known to us. And in coffee, for example, there are two types of seeds. We are not creating it. Nature creates. One is called peaberry, the other one is called AB, ordinary seeds. Why this peaberry is, peaberry is an aborted seed. It will not have two parts. Advantage is, when it is roasted, the heat is passed on to all parts of the seed simultaneously, because it is in one shape. Whereas when they are two, it is different. That is why peaberry is costing more when you go to the market. We are not cultivating peaberry. We are cultivating coffee. And when we hull the coffee, and when you grade it, if you have got a grading facility, peaberry gets separated. There is a sieve, by which, you can separate the peaberry also. Then he used to wonder, who makes this seed? I did not do anything. Though I have been cultivating, though I have been giving all inputs, I did not ask the plant to give me peaberry more. Peaberry comes by itself. It may be 10% of the whole production. 10 or 15%, not more than that. But still, and it fetches a high price. When you take it, you see it as a round one, not two seeds. Likewise, we are trying to explain all these things because the more you move with Mother Nature, more she teaches about profound realities which are lying hidden. So when we try to go to the origin of everything, we realize that they have come into being only from that source, which is a subtle and mysterious power. That is the first thing. Mother Nature teaches us wise tuitions when we observe keenly its various characteristics. That is what we were explaining. We get this Nendrakai, Nendraparam. Nendraparam you can understand, no? The plantain, the leaf. It will be very... we get from market also. No? Day for a study, it was given for today, Prasad. We also cultivate here in ashram. You know the size? Like this much. One Nendraparam, we will not be able to conceive. Shruti may be able to conceive, not us.
Nanalle was dinner every night. Nendrapalam.
Just imagine.
One full.
But the size. We have now, when they give us, we used to look at it, it's a wonder of wonders. And the process, we don't do anything. When it is matured, it is cut and it is hung. And then, as days go by, slowly from the green color, it turns into yellow color. And then when you start feeling it, you find, yes, it is slowly getting detached from the skin. That is the stage. If it is with this skin, that means no. It teaches. Yes, now you can take, And then by that time, the taste of the inner content changes. Padutite levu. We are not doing anything. Nature in its own course. We saw it, in Sadhana Kudir. When we were hanging it, what was its color, what was its shape? And now, how it detaches from the skin, makes it readily available for us. We throw the skin, no doubt. But in your heart, we should have that it has done its job. And when it is thrown, it also gets decomposed and part of the organic manure. Like plastic, it doesn't become a problem. It becomes an organic manure. Again, it is recycled, That is why this is said, Mother Nature teaches us wise tuitions. Mother Nature in the form of fruits, vegetables. Mother Nature in the form of trees. In hot sun, in summer, suppose we find a tree, how happy you will be. Suppose you are walking, especially when we take to this Padayatra, we will know the real. That is why spiritual aspirants they have been suggested to go on a Parivrajaka tour, at least for some distance. We will find all these things, not in a place where we are. And what all it teaches. And the flowing water. And even in our well, normally if we take water and keep it, after 2 or 3 days a smell will come, But in well, no such things happen. How does it happen, Not only that when we take it doesn't leave any dent, but it remains pure water throughout 365 days. Of course, during the summer, probably the incoming quantity of water might be less from the springs. And where from it comes? And the rains, you just imagine. We hardly spend time on all these because the moment we open, it is before us. Under the banner of spirituality, we remove all these things and stay on something else. Whereas he is there in the form of the entire world before us.
She's not well today.
Okay. Somebody will take it now? So please think over it. Papa is giving us an opportunity now. Even under the banner of spirituality, we are trying to close our eyes before Him who is there in the form of Mother Nature. It is right in front of us. Different characteristics, different types of flowers, but same input. So we start thinking. It changes the texture of the soil also. In Ayodhya, what was the texture 2 years back, and now it is totally different. All that we did was to maintain, we would have planted and maintained it, that's all. Rest of the things are done by Mother Nature itself. So in Quest of God, when he talks about it in many places, we just look at the Mother Nature before us. Why are we spending our time on something else? He is there right in front of us. Ramana Bhagavan in one of his quotations says, he is there right in front of us. We take him as a second personality. First we rush up and stand there. And so he is behind. Whereas he is there in front of us. I have to just look at him with that perspective. So my Nama chanting should enable me to see him in that form. Not in a particular form, not in a particular discipline. It may not be relevant, but still we remember, we are sharing it. Many years ago, yeah. In Delhi, there is a Kochi Guruvayurappan temple. There every year on those days, talking about 80s or 90s, one Nambudiri goes there, performs the Sattaham. Highly dedicated. Devotion is there right from start to the finish. He becomes one with the subject, one with the theme. And because of that, he was able to take all the audience also along with him. Such a beautiful presentation. But he was so pure, innocent, pure, childlike. I think on the last day or a day before last day, he was telling, I have been doing this for so many years. I have been glorifying him, but I did not have the privilege of experiencing him. I always think, why should I do this? And started crying, Everybody was stunned. Then again he started, things were okay. But it made us to think. Because though he is gifted with devotion, though he is gifted with the mastery over the language, Malayalam, and though he is gifted with so many knowledge about so many things, still he was finding himself not enjoying what he is telling others to enjoy, It could be that right in front of us, there are so many of his creation. Are we unknowingly neglecting this and concentrating upon a particular point? That means it gets disconnected with our daily life. When Papa says this poem, it connects us with our daily life. I find my God in fields, hills, dales, in workshop, school, office, marketplace. Connecting up, in plains and forests, in the grazing herd of cows, in home, hospital, in power plants, in huts and palaces, in halls and assemblies, in temple, churches and mosques, in solitudes and caves, in graveyards and cremation ground. I see him in the sky above and earth below, in the waters of the lakes and oceans vast, in the slow and swift running streams, in trains, in cars, in aeroplanes, as well in gentle moving bullock carts. I behold him, awake, asleep, dreaming, in birth, in life, and in death. I find him at all times, in all places, in all states. My God is everywhere and everything. He alone is, there is none but He. So when He has paraded before us in the form of Mother Nature, and if we are not looking at it and just, nice, that's all we will say. Beautiful, we take a photograph, that's all. There ends the whole matter. What all the great provider has done, that we don't, the probing nature, it is shifted to something else. Even spiritual aspirants, we say that. In good old days, why were they resorting to jungles, Himalayas, Why were they resorting to? Every moment, if I see a person, I discuss. Again, I come down to a different. I forget about all what there is before me, because I am concentrating on the theme subjected with him. His likes and dislikes, my dislikes and dislikes, so many things. We are cut off from the real world. So in good old days, for intense spiritual sadhana, they were resorting to jungles. In IQG also we find that every now and then he goes to solitude. He is one with Mother Nature. Nobody else is there to disturb him. In graveyards, nobody will come, in cremation ground. Out of fear also people don't go. So now we start studying. IQG in-depth study reveals He is there before us in the form of Mother Nature. And that is why He is resorting to solitude. Whether it was in Tiruvannamalai, or whether it was in Jhansi, whether it was in Muchukundashram, so many places, Girinar. In so many chapters it will come. Please let us not revisit that places again and go through it again and again.
Tapovan also, sorry.
Tapovan also.
Tapovan. Many places. Now we are trying to understand why he resorted to. First thing is, there is no person. When a person comes, naturally we will start discussing. And discussion unknowingly makes us unaware of so many things which nature places before us. We know that, we don't know that. 3-4 months back we had been to a place called Shirumalai in Tamil Nadu. There is a hillock, very difficult to climb. But people go there. There is nothing there. Now they have put up a small place for worship, that's all. But it is supposed to be a spiritual center. So our friend said, why not we go? He said, okay. Very difficult, very steep, like this, you have to climb. And no steps. Anytime, anybody can fall. And after say 10 minutes or 15 minutes climbing up, we start and seeing the whole thing. The Papa is whispering to us. As you go up and up, don't you see more and more of my creation? Don't you know that even you are there on the in your place, in your residence? Limited vision. Now you see unlimited vision. But to get this unlimited vision, you have to struggle a little. You have to be careful while walking. But every now and then I give you pause moments and then look around and see. And what do you see? I am there in the form of trees, lakes, rivers, somewhere some houses. And when we reach the top, everybody thought with this knee pain I may not be able to. But he made it. And climbing down was another problem. But we find people are coming there, even from Chennai also. And many people come halfway they return back. It is very steep, very difficult. But there he teaches, And there, on the top of it, there are types of grass, so many small plants. Who is watering them? Who is bringing them? Who is developing it? Now, of course, somebody has identified it as a tourist spot, and they may make so many things. Okay, it's all right. But a person who has got a probing nature, why should we go through many? Papa is teaching us. It is there. There is a beautiful quotation. Mother Nature. It's a book. Magnificent book. Every page, I will try to get it tomorrow. Every page.
What's the name, Swamiji?
It's a quotation.
Thank you.
It's a magnificent book, Mother Nature. And in every page you find the chapa of God, You will find. Beautiful word, beautiful quotation. With that background, we see that every page means every creation, every day we come across. It teaches a lot. Then only, first we have to recognize, it is there before us, but we are not even recognizing it. Himalaya. On the fourth day, they started on their journey higher on the hills. As they climbed higher and higher, the scenes and landscape they saw were found to be simply enchanting. On the right, the sacred Ganga was rushing downhill in all her glory. And on the left, high rocky hills full of foliage and trees presented at once a thrilling and absorbing sight. The very air there was charged with the divine presence of Ram. The far-off hills and valleys, the varied hued sky in which the white, fleecy clouds assumed fantastic shapes. The snow-capped mountains, hundreds of miles away up, dazzling in the rays of the sun, as though they were covered with sheets of silver. All these constituted indeed an imposing sight. Oh, the charm of the scene. Oh, Ram. Poor Ramdas cannot find adequate words to describe the grandeur, the beauty, the wonderful glory of the sights that met his bewildered eyes. Appa. The lofty peaks of mountains are dimly visible at a distance, covered over with white mist, kissing as they do the rolling waves of clouds that hang above them. A nearer gaze presents to the eye high gigantic rocks with dense forests, a mixture of green, yellow and red hues of leaves, foliage and blossoms, A still nearer view shows the crystal water of the holy Ganga that flows in all calmness and majesty, disclosing in her bosom huge pieces of rocks which a rushing current had pulled down in days of yore and made round and smooth. O Ram, thou art sublime. So like that, he was enjoying is not the word. Something more than that. So we now to see that it is there before us also, we start first recognizing it.
Experiencing the thrill of nature.
Experience. So suppose we start concentrating upon it, no? We spend a lot of time on books and this, It is there in front of us. Every fruit has got a different taste, All may be sweet, but the sweetness also differs. Foliage, the super architect, the super planner. How does he bring the different strikes in a flower, no?
In the book he is called a magician.
A magician, the great magician. We must apply our mind, no? In-depth study requires no word we can treat it like that. Conjurer. Provider. So many words he gives us. And then we should start seeing him. I am chanting Ram Nam to feel his presence. Not only in me, he is there. When I recognize him there in a tree or a plant, I have recognized him inside. Because only he who is inside can recognize him outside. Think about it. Only when he who is inside can recognize him outside. There we get the alignment proper. That is why we all enjoy taking a break and going to a place where there are mountains, waterfalls, lush green atmosphere. They may be thinking that it is a good scene. No, certainly not. They are pulled there by the inner reality. I am there in front of you. When we drive, when we see the waterfall, immediately people stop. What is there to see? But something in us immediately makes us to look at it intently. Go near that. Spend some time. Come back. An inexplicable joy comes in our heart. There is an alignment. We have not applied our mind intently.
Birds also did like that, sorry. Birds also did like that. See waves.
Pearls. Waves. So many. Tomorrow we will try to get that quotation of Papa. It's a beautiful quotation. Magnificent. It is there in our laptop. 5 o'clock one. So that word, that is enough for us. The world we live in is a school, that is also there, in which observation and experience offer us immense possibilities for self-improvement. Nay, the world itself is Guru or God. And then this magnificent, it is there in the letters, from there we have called out. In one of his letters he mentions this magnificent book. Mother Nature is a magnificent book in which each page, there we will find he says Ram, 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 Ram. We find the tree, we don't find the Ram. We find a flower, we don't find the power behind it. We find a fruit, we don't find the power behind the fruit. We find the water, we don't like that, I must, he is there, he is there, he is there. I have been spending all my time in looking for him in various books, in various shastras, in various Puranas, but he is there right in front of me. Even in Bhagavad Gita, he has brought it. It did not strike to me. I learned by heart. Which chapter? 11th chapter. But I miss him.
Swamiji, in a city, how do I see nature? Where do I see nature?
In the city, how do I see
in the city, I agree. Come to the village area. Go to the village area. In the city also, then you will start seeing. That is why nowadays, the trend is slowly changing. Even in an apartment, you grow something in a pot. Some flowers, some vegetables, something, On the terrace also now people are doing it in Kerala. I don't know about other cities. Even Chandu, in Bangalore, in his small room, flat. See change. He sent me the video. You will be wonderstruck. It's a building, but you see the tree.
Roof garden.
Roof garden. It is a garden. Yes, you are right. Garden.
Roof garden.
So what is not possible?
Swamiji, we have all the squirrels and sparrows and mynas eating every day.
Anyway, even for city people, they can look at the sky, From the sky to the space, from the water tap, the water, from the flat to the earth. Is it not?
Swamiji, when Papa says about Bombay chapter, the one word he usually took bath under a water tap. Sure. Yes. Nice to see.
Yeah. Bhuleshwara. So when we start knowing it, we may be able to identify it even in cities. But of course, the easy way is to take a drive, That's why people have farmhouses, in many people who can afford, they buy a farmhouse. In their hectic day, they go there and spend. Aram se, right now. Eat. Look at the sky. Look at the surroundings. Tremendous relaxation. It can't be explained how it helps us. So today Papa wants us to apply our mind deeply on the gifts God gives us through Mother Nature. Let us try to do it again and again and again. And now that means we are moving nearer to him now. We are moving nearer to him. Please think about it. Every day we need not tom-tom. Some moments, even if it's a couple of seconds, if it gives you a joy in looking and registering in your mind, we are moving nearer to him, moving nearer to him, moving nearer to him. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Om ശ്രീരാം ജയ രാം ജയ് ജയ് രാമ ഓം. ഹരി ഓം ഹരി ഓം ഹരി ഓം ഹരി ഓം.
നമസ്കാരം.
നമസ്കാരം.